All right, let's talk about a really common, and I mean really common mistake in the world of DIY power systems. And honestly, it can be pretty dangerous.
So I bet if you've spent any time on DIY forums or watching videos about building your own off-grid setup, this exact idea has popped into your head. It just seems so simple.
But this is exactly where we need to pump the brakes. Because hiding behind that simple idea is an electrical reality that can lead to all sorts of system failures, and even worse, a very serious fire risk.
So let's get right into it and bust what I call the high-power 12-volt myth. It's this belief that you can just take a small, simple system and scale it up by throwing bigger parts at it without changing the basic design. It just doesn't work that way.
And you can totally see the appeal, right? I mean, 12-volt batteries are everywhere. They feel familiar. You see folks online hooking up a massive inverter to a battery bank with some beefy-looking cables, and it looks like it just works. But what you're often not seeing is the incredible invisible stress that setup is putting on every single part of that system.
And that brings us to the absolute heart of the matter, what I'm calling the 250 amp problem. This number, this massive flow of current, is the hidden villain here. It's the reason why this whole setup is just so risky.
Now, to see where that number comes from, we got to look at one of the most fundamental laws of electricity. The formula is actually super simple. Current, which we measure in amps, is just your power in watts divided by your system's voltage. You can't cheat this formula. It's like a law of physics.
Okay, let's do the math together, real quick. You want 3,000 watts to run, say your microwave or some big power tools. Your system is 12 volts. You take 3,000, you divide it by 12, and boom, you get 250 amps. And remember, that's the absolute best case scenario, the minimum amount of current your system has to push out.
But here's the kicker. In the real world, it's actually worse. See, no inverter is perfectly efficient. When you factor in a pretty typical inverter running at about 90% efficiency, the real current it's going to pull is closer to 278 amps. Let me put that in perspective for you. That's not a hobby electronics current. That is an industrial level current. That's the kind of juice you'd find in heavy machinery or a powerful electric welder.
And a current that high doesn't just create a single problem. Oh no, it sets off a whole chain reaction, like a cascade of falling dominoes that can bring your entire system to its knees.
So here's how that domino effect plays out step by step. First, the inverter screams for that huge current from your batteries. As that tidal wave of current rushes through your cables, even the really thick ones, you get something called a voltage drop. The inverter sees that sudden voltage sag and it panics, thinking the battery is dead, so it just shuts down to protect itself. And all the while, that massive current is generating a ton of heat in every single wire, every connection, every fuse in its path.
And this isn't just a one-time thing that happens. Constantly putting your system under that kind of extreme stress has some really serious long-term effects. You're basically cooking your batteries, which wears them out way faster. You're losing a ton of power as wasted heat, and you're putting insane wear and tear on every single component, especially the terminals and connectors, where just one slightly loose connection can turn into a catastrophic failure point.
So this is the really crucial part. We've moved beyond a system that's just, a bit inefficient or unreliable. We are now talking about a genuine, life-threatening safety hazard.
At 250 to 300 amps of DC current, things get scary, and they get scary fast. A loose connection isn't just going to make your lights flicker, it can create a violent high-energy arc flash. A short circuit won't just blow a fuse, it can literally vaporize metal. And any cable that isn't perfectly sized and installed basically becomes a space heater, just waiting to melt its own insulation and start a fire. Okay, so after all that doom and gloom, you're probably asking, what's the answer? Well, thankfully, the solution is incredibly simple. It's actually really elegant. Instead of trying to brute force all that current through a low-voltage system, you just increase the voltage. And this chart just shows it all so perfectly. Look at these numbers for a minute. At 12 volts, you're wrestling with that scary 278 amps. But just by doubling your system voltage to 24 volts, you literally cut the current in half. Go up to 48 volts and you quarter the current all the way down to a much, much safer and more manageable 70 amps. And that right there, that is the key takeaway of all this. You're getting the exact same 3,000 watts of power to run all your stuff, but you're doing it with way less current. And less current means less heat, less stress, way better efficiency, and, most importantly, a whole lot more safety. So really, the whole principle comes down to this. Match your system's voltage to your power needs. A 12-volt system is awesome for small loads.
Running some lights, a few fans, charging your phone, that's what it's for. But the second you start talking about high power stuff, like a 3,000-watt inverter, you absolutely need to be designing with a higher voltage, like 24 or 48 volts. It's safer, it runs cooler, and it's just the proper way to engineer it.
And that really just leaves us with one final question to think about for any project you're working on. It's so easy to build for power, to chase that big watt number on the front of the inverter. But have you really built it for safety? Because a powerful system that isn't safe, well, it isn't really powerful at all, is it?